Hi, my name is Serita.
And my name is Rena.
We are both past patients with Mexico Bariatric Center, and we are here to break the stigma of having weight loss surgery in Tijuana, Mexico. We will be covering all things bariatric to help you get the most out of this weight loss journey.
Hi, friends!
Hello!
Welcome to Can You Stomach This? So, today, are you ready, Serita?
I think.
Are you ready?
I think.
All right, so today's we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about our very own Serita. Because we love Serita at MBC. And why do we love Serita at MBC? So let's dive into that and talk a little more about that. So I hope you can stomach this. I certainly stomach this on the daily. I stomach some Serita every day. She's like literally the best. So let's dive in and talk about that. So what or who, I should say, is Serita of MBC, right? Right? So who is Serita? Serita is our patient advocate. Oh, she's a previous patient. Let's start there.
I'm a previous patient.
Previous patient, patient advocate. She's a Facebook admin. She also assists with nutritional support when needed. And she is obviously a Can You Stomach This podcast co-host. And then, you know, at the end of the day, let's be honest, Serita is your biggest cheerleader.
I am your biggest cheerleader.
She is. And she's an incredible accountability partner. We can talk about that a little more later, but at the end of the day, she's an incredible accountability partner for people she don't even know, right?
True.
So we're going to do this a little different. We're going to kind of do it interview style and go through some questions, some things that people have asked about Serita or wondered or whatever.
Yeah,
and so
what's my story?
Yeah, what's your story? We'll put it all together. And so diving into that, let's start by telling us a little bit about like your journey before VSG. VSG meaning vertical sleeve gastrectomy. So before you had the sleeve, what made you decide to undergo surgery, and why did you choose Mexico Bariatric Center?
Well, first of all, I had a child late in life. I'm not really late in life, but older. I was the older mom. And after I had my child, my son, I couldn't lose weight like for 17 years. And then my husband died a year before I had surgery, and I like was grief eating, and I ate my way up to 250 pounds. And then anyway, I had gone out to California to visit some family. I met up with a friend at the Cheesecake Factory.
Of all places,
I know, of all places.
Weight loss journey.
Right. And she told me about Mexico Bariatric Center and, you know, gave me the contact information. And when I left California to go back home, I made that phone call and I got the process started. You know, I paid the money, I got my tickets, I got, you know, everything uploaded, and within 3 weeks I was on my way.
Yep.
By myself, didn't tell anyone.
That's crazy to me.
I didn't tell anyone.
And speaking of not telling anybody, thinking back on that, you mentioned it earlier, but you want to tell everybody what you told me about that? Like, what were you thinking?
Why I didn't tell anyone?
Yeah. Or no, like, I think like you were talking about like, maybe that wasn't such a great idea.
Well, I mean, I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Nobody knew I was out of, you know.
Out of the country?
No. Nobody knew.
Maybe like one person should know.
Well, my sister was my emergency contact, but I didn't tell her why.
So she could have just got like a random phone call.
Right.
That's,
yeah. So
that's
I didn't tell her why. I just said, hey, will you be my emergency contact? She's like, yeah. So that was it.
That's wild. Okay, so moving on from that, how do you think that VSG just changed your life?
Well, this is the healthiest I've been in my adult life. I had surgery at 53. I just turned 61. Healthiest I've ever been. And it also, a year after I had surgery, I started a new career with Mexico Bariatric Center.
And we're so glad you did. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so you've had surgery, you've got this amazing career. We're going to talk about challenges for a second, right? So like, what challenges did you face during recovery? Actually, your challenges started on the airplane, but hold up. So on the airplane going to surgery, but so how did you face these challenges, like on the airplane that day, in the recovery process, and like how did you overcome those things? What challenges?
So I flew on Valentine's Day, and I flew first class, and there was like all this food, and it smelled really good, and everybody's eating, you know, this big breakfast, and of course I couldn't have any of that. So
Pre-op diet.
right, so I fell
Clear
asleep.
liquids only.
Yeah, clear liquids. So I fell asleep, and when I woke up, I had candy in my lap. They threw candy in my lap because I was like, no, thank you. I can't have it. I don't need any snacks or food. And I don't know what they thought, but anyway, they threw it on my lap. I woke up and there's some candy.
I always love that part of your story. I don't know why, but I've just always.
I did not eat the candy. Like it brought it home for my son.
Too. Didn't you already tell the lady you couldn't have it, and like maybe she just thought you were being modest or something?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, I really wanted to eat, but you know, I knew that this was something I couldn't do. So yeah.
Right. So bravo, because you know you could have snuggled.
That was my first test.
First test. All right. So what are some other challenges?
So I think that mental health is a big challenge. I was already in counseling, and I was in it before, during, and after. And I think that was really important for me to, you know, because I was grief eating. I was eating my feelings, and I needed to work through that to get to where I am. I would say I regretted it at first. I was like, oh my God, what have I done to myself?
You regretted surgery.
I did. I was like, what have I done? I could eat a spoon of refried beans and that was it. I was full.
I can see you now. Like, I can only eat a spoon of beans. What did I do?
Yeah. So I think everyone goes through that at some point. Like they have some type of regret, but I got over that really quickly. As I was losing weight, I did get off track. I had a few hiccups, you know. I had a popcorn story.
Oh yeah, the popcorn story.
I tell patients this all the time. I'm like, let me tell you my popcorn story.
Hiccup number one.
Yeah, hiccup number one was a 7-month stall because I was eating popcorn every day, and I gained back 12 pounds. And so then I got back on track, and I got a trainer, got back on track, lost 50 pounds in 6 months, meeting my goal weight. And yeah, so that was big time stall for me. I also had some, you know, broken relationships. I had some friends who were jealous, and you know,
that's so heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. Like longtime friends, you know, and you know they just kind of like, you know, broke it off. But you know, whatever. That's their thing. I also, you know, during maintenance time, COVID happened, right? And, you know, everybody was afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
There was not that much food at stores. You know, I go to the store and, like, all the shelves were empty. So I did get off track there, and I did gain 20 pounds. And the gym was closed, couldn't get the right kind of food. Afraid to go out to get food, right? And then you get there, wait in line, get in, and all the shelves are empty. So, you know, that was kind of scary. But as soon as, you know, COVID, like everything opened up, you know, got back to going to my trainer, got back on track, and of course lost that. So those were some of my hiccups.
Yep. Yep, you've had quite a few.
Oh, and yeah, and then my dad had passed away on Valentine's Day a couple years ago, and I had that hiccup too. I had to stay there and do a lot of things, and you know, wasn't eating right, and it was really stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hiccups, challenges, COVID, you know, all the things.
Life.
Yeah, life happens on our journey, and you know, you've been doing this for 8 years now, right? So of course, life happens in 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, let's move on from that, and let's talk about let's get into where you came to MBC, right? So what inspired you to take on that role of patient advocate here at Mexico Bariatric Center?
Well, I learned a lot through my journey, and it drove me to have this passion to help others, and, you know, helping others, you know, not to do the things I did, to get back on track, you know. Yeah, just a passion for helping others to, you know, have long-term success and just get them through pre-op and post-op and the phases and, you know, get their journey started and continue.
Right. And so one of the things you do, like we mentioned, is admin on Facebook.
Yes.
So how do you encourage the Facebook community, and like what's your approach to fostering a positive and supportive space for our patients?
Well, I like to keep the pages transparent, and you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and you know, I like to keep the pages positive. I don't put it with name calling and bullying and things like that. If I see some incorrect information, I will delete it, because that is not correct for other patients. So you might have done something and it worked for you, but it's incorrect. I hope that makes sense.
Yep.
I want all the patients to be supported on the page and have the correct information.
Yeah, you know, and I see a lot, but you know, one of the most common things that people talk about is like vitamins. Like, oh, I didn't take my vitamins.
Yeah, that's very unsafe.
It is unsafe. And you know what? The thing about that is, like, you may think that you got through like that couple of years without taking your vitamins, but vitamin deficiencies are one of those things that you don't know that you had the deficiency until the damage is irreversible.
Right.
And it is a horrible idea to tell people it's okay to not take vitamins. That's just one of the things. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that out there.
No, it's true.
It just made me think about it, because it seems to be like a common occurrence on our group is the vitamin talk, and people. I see people all the time say, you know, I didn't take my vitamins. Don't tell people that. Like,
or I didn't follow pre-op. Well, you got lucky.
You got lucky. That's another one, not following pre-op. And so you do a really good job managing that and navigating that those indifferences, right? Yeah. So moving on from that, what I can think of so many memorable moments that you've had, not my memories, but just yours, like in conversation and talking to you. But let's see what you have to say here, right? So would you share a memorable experience where you've helped a patient through like a tough moment or like a challenge? Like, what is one of the most memorable things to you?
Okay, so I check Facebook pretty often, and I do have moderation alerts set up. So if there's a keyword in there, it'll like tell me, hey, you have moderation alert. So it was at nighttime. I was checking the page, and somebody had posted, they were like, I don't know, in phase 1, a few days post-op, right? You're supposed to be on clear liquids. And so she posted something on Facebook about, she was like at a drive-thru. She was trying to get a hamburger. And I messaged her immediately. I said, I'm PM you, you know, please answer me back. And so I literally called her, and I talked her out of getting out of the drive-thru line and not doing this. I said, you risk complications. You could rupture your stomach.
Yes.
You know, so like things like that happen, you know, and I always will reach out to a patient who's having some kind of crisis or something like that and talk them down, talk them out of it, you know, like really emphasize the importance of not doing that. And yeah, so that was kind of scary for me, because if she had not posted that and done it, you know, she could have really hurt herself.
Yeah, and it is a good thing that you monitor those groups regularly.
I do.
That would have been one of those mistakes that she couldn't have taken back.
Right.
Like,
the damage would have been done.
Yeah, that was a damage that could have ended in like another surgery.
Right. Yeah. Right. And we've seen that happen too.
We have. Remember the guy that ate steak the day he crossed the border,
or the guy that ate apples and ruptured his stomach? He posted it on Facebook. So there's so many examples. But you know, I try and catch all of that. Sometimes I do miss them. But, you know, if they're in the middle of the night or something when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So, you know, I try.
You do have to go to bed.
I do.
Aside from that, you monitor those groups pretty consistently. 7 days a week.
7 days a week. Yeah.
Yes. So that is a pretty memorable one, and I think that's very special that you were able to help her through that.
Yeah, and I followed up with her. I stay consistent with people that, you know, that have those types of things happening. And, you know, I always message, hey, how are you doing? You know, how's it going? You know, I always stay in touch.
That's like really good emotional support, right? Mm-hmm. Too. But then you also have to balance like offering practical advice. So like, how do you do that? How do you balance offering that emotional support, but also while offering like that practical advice to patients? Like,
I am very straightforward.
Facts.
I am very straightforward.
Hard facts.
While being empathetic.
Yeah,
I've been through it. I know what you're going through. However, I'm very straightforward. Like if I know that you are not telling me the correct story, I will dig until I get it. And usually I do get it. And it's like, I am doing this for your own good. Like I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I think you like lead with
in a
like
nice way,
firm, gentle hand. Yeah, right?
Firm.
Like a no nonsense thing. Like me. Like you're so, like you're such a great like a mentor or like accountability, right? You're so great at accountability because like I'll be on the phone with you and mindlessly not paying attention, and what happens? Crunch.
I hear crunching on the other end. I'm like, what is that?
You don't need to know.
Put it down. You don't need that. Yeah.
So I have lost more weight recently, and I would give some of that credit to you. That hardcore, put that down. You don't need that. Do you really need that?
Right.
So anyway, you are very straightforward. You know, when patients are struggling or need help, I do often tell them, reach out to Serita. You know, she's a great accountability partner. When I was working in coordination and people would tell me, you know, like, that was a fear, you know, they were worried about, you know, maintain, you know, like sticking to the plan and going through the process. I would always say, reach out to Serita. She's great at holding you accountable. Yep. And that's it. You are a great accountability partner for people that are patients. You don't even know these people. Sometimes, you know.
I don't know any of these patients. I just know them from Facebook. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know, I know them from Facebook, and I see what they write, and I see what their struggles are. And, you know, I mean...
And you're not judgmental.
No, not at all.
Firm.
I went through it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So, and then, obviously you're a podcast host, right? For our wonderful Candy Stomach This. Mm-hmm. And so with each of the episodes that we create, that we put together, you know, what is something that you hope to achieve with each episode that we put out?
Well, we do a lot of research for our podcast, and we do spend a lot of time creating the content. Mm-hmm. So, you know, sharing knowledge and experience with others. You know, we're real people.
Yep.
We really had surgery. She's had 2. I've had 1. Yep. You're almost 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're long-time people. And, you know, again, we're real people. And we just want to share our knowledge and experience with others.
Yeah. Real people, real experiences, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, speaking of real people, real experiences, what is one of the most rewarding parts of hosting the podcast for you? And how do you think it impacts our listeners, like knowing that listeners that are considering surgery or are already like on their weight loss journey?
Well, again, we're real people. We have real experiences. We've gone through pre-op. We've gone through post-op. We're in maintenance. You know, we have, you know, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Together too.
Yeah. I mean, we've had different journeys, and then, so together, collectively, there's like a lot.
She's younger than me. She's 20 years younger. I'm 20 years older than her. So I feel like I have people write on Facebook like, I'm too old to have surgery. I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're not too old. Right? You're not too old. So, you know, I have like different kind of experiences than she does. Mm-hmm. And that's good, you know?
Yeah, my experience was through having children and raising a family and now all that good stuff. So,
Right.
And yours came from like that late in life experience.
Right. Yeah.
And people are worried often about, that 50 plus. People do get really worried. And I tell patients all the time, it's a very different experience for a 20-year-old having surgery versus a 40-year-old versus even 50. That's only 10 years difference, but it is a big difference because we're in such different places in life usually.
Yeah, we are. We're in different places. As women, we take care of everyone else. We take care of ourselves last. And as we get older and the kids are gone, it's time to take care of yourself. And, when you turn 50, things start happening. Be prepared.
Listen, I said that at 40, okay?
Things start happening at 50. Things start giving out. And, we go through hormones and menopause and, monthly things. Women go through a lot. And, menopause usually happens sometime around late 40s, 50s, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, so you'll find out. But yeah, it's time to take care of yourself and, for that second part of your life.
Yep.
That's how I look at it.
All right. Sounds good. I love it. All right. So speaking of, your experience, sharing experiences, things like that, how does your experience as a past patient, also as a companion with your daughter, help you relate to those who are going through the process now?
So I know what it's like to be a patient and a companion. So I'm glad that I was a companion. That was like the most amazing.
Isn't it fun? I love being a companion.
That buffet breakfast at the Hyatt was amazing. Look, tacos, for breakfast.
As a patient, it's torture.
I know. As a patient, it is torture. Like my daughter, it's not fair.
It's not
fair.
So,
we had.
Smell it.
I know. And their buffet is like amazing. It's like tacos and all this other stuff. But, as a companion in the new hospital, it's a little bit different with the visiting and things like that. So I was at the old hospital. And but now I know how it is at the new hospital. So I wasn't a companion there, but I know how the whole process works.
Right.
So,
So
I think that's one advantage is that I've been a patient, I've been a companion, I have advice, for both. And I think that's super important because I've been through them both.
Yeah. Yep. Love it. All right. So what do you think is the most important thing that a patient needs to know before going into bariatric surgery? Like, what is the most important thing that someone needs to know?
I think you should really do your research, before you do bariatric surgery. It's a tool. It's not magic. You're not going to lose 100 pounds overnight. It's a journey, and you have to work it. And don't compare yourself to others.
That is so hard sometimes.
It's hard. Stay off the scale.
Yeah, so many people struggle with all those things.
Yeah. Again, it's not magic. You have to follow the guidelines. And you're gonna lose the most of your weight in the first 2 years. That's your honeymoon period.
Yeah,
so
it is. Get the most of it while you can. Right?
Utilize that time to do that, and become active. That's the key as well.
It's a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change. Yeah.
Not a tool. And not a magic trick.
And food is fuel. You have to look at food as fuel now. That's how I look at it.
Where'd you hear that from?
I made it up. No way I make it up. I always say food is fuel because it fuels your body.
It does. It's gas. It's your body's gas. Okay. So
not real gas, but
Well, it depends on what you eat and what surgery you have.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Post-TS, you can't eat carbs because it turns into gas.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's another podcast.
Another day. I think we already did that one actually. Go find it somewhere. But anyway, so as somebody who's lived the journey for the past 8 years now, kudos to the past 8 years. What do you think is like the key to long-term success after bariatric surgery? And then how do you think that Mexico Bariatric Center, because like as a patient and as also a staff member, how would you say that Mexico Bariatric Center supports patients? So key to success, and how does Mexican Bariatric Center help patients with that success?
Again, use your tool, right?
Yes.
Follow your post-op guidelines and incorporate activity into your life. I still meal prep. I still weigh my food. There's times when I have things that aren't on the guidelines, but, I'm further out, so I know what to do to balance that.
Right.
I'm Italian. I like pasta. Occasionally I'll have pasta. Okay, I make my own pasta. And I make my own sauce too.
I eat chickpea pasta.
Yeah, so, it's very rare that I do that, but, those are some things. As far as how we support patients, we offer lifetime nutrition support from our nutritionist. You have access to our medical liaison, Jen, and she is a medical doctor. We have our Facebook groups. Our main...
We have a maintenance group.
We do. We have lots of groups. But in our main group, we have like 14,000 patients in there.
And everybody in the main group has either had surgery or is booked to have surgery. If someone gets in the group, you have to be booked to get in this group.
I will not let you in if you're not booked.
No, not at all.
I am the Facebook police. I will not let you in.
Yeah, you have to be booked to get in the group. And then even if you book, get in, you cancel, you get removed from the group. So the Facebook group is a safe place for patients.
It's private.
It is private. Husbands who only have a social media account, and the wife uses the husband's account, or the husband. We see a lot where the wife has the account, the husband doesn't even have social media. Well, wifey can't get in the group because she's not the patient.
She will not be in the group.
So some people don't understand the reason why that is, but
it's
it
for
is
the
important
privacy.
for privacy.
It's for the privacy of our patients. We don't want just random people getting in the group and reading your private things and looking at your pictures.
Yeah, people share a lot of intimacy.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't allow that. I do not allow that at all.
I would never post my stuff on my public page anyway.
Right.
So I don't want people that don't go through this looking at that story.
And we have monthly groups. You can connect with people having surgery the same day as you. I think that our support system and groups really set us apart from other companies because you have so much support.
Yeah.
Really.
You really do. We have a lot of support.
We do.
Through the whole process.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. So, what role do you believe social media and those Facebook groups and things like that, speaking of that, we were just kind of elaborating on it, but what role do you think that those groups play in, someone's life, in their journey, in their experience?
Well, everyone's on social media, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? 99% of the population. So, social media is everything, and it gives them a safe place to ask questions and get support. And no questions are stupid. People are like, oh, this question's stupid. No, it's not. So no, ask away. We're there to support you. And, we keep things transparent. Again, I don't tolerate bullying, name calling, arguing, incorrect information. I try and keep everything transparent. People have good experiences, bad experiences, but, that's what it is.
True.
Yeah.
We answer on there, you specifically, answer some of the same questions over and over and over. And, but that's okay because, you are new. You might be new to the journey and you need someone to answer those questions for you. But in 7-8 years, I can say we've seen a lot of the same questions.
Every day we get the same questions, but if you're new and you don't know,
you deserve that same respect.
Yeah, so you do deserve that same respect, and I'll answer the correct answer.
Yeah,
always.
And make sure that other people are also giving you correct answers, because it's important for your health. Your long-term success. We
are not Facebook doctors. If you have a medical question, I will refer you to Jen. Like, we are not doctors, and the people in the group are not doctors.
They're not. And I've seen people ask medical questions on there that need to be answered by a doctor, and other patients start giving such random answers. And, you know, those posts get deleted because it has a lot of misinformation. And we've had people get upset, like, why are you deleting posts? That's not true transparency. Well, yeah, it is, because when you start getting all the Facebook doctors, not real doctors, answering questions that could be detrimental to somebody's health, it is for your safety.
Right. I'll reach out to that patient and say, hey, I deleted your post. Please contact Jen.
And this is why.
And this is why. And they're good with that. They're fine. And then sometimes I'll just put on the comment, please contact Jen, and I'll turn off comments.
Yeah.
Because she's the doctor. You know, she's the doctor. She's
or go see your PCP. But speaking of all that, how do you ensure that the Facebook groups are a space of trust and encouragement? I mean, obviously doing the things that you just said, but like, how do you do that? Like, how do you keep up with it?
It's a lot. It's a lot. And again, I have moderation alerts set up for certain words, you know, and people, like, if they have a negative post or they're fearful, and you know, I'll reach out to them directly to try and solve the issue or point them in the direction of someone who can help them, such as Rena, who does admin. You know, I'll reach out to them to help calm their fears, like, hey, I've been a patient, you know, and kind of just go through my story and like ask me any question you want. I'm available for you all the time. Message me anytime. Here's my phone number, you know.
And sometimes just telling people that you've been through it kind of...
Yeah, it makes them feel better.
It changes things.
Yeah,
it changes the conversation.
It does.
Calms that fear, like you get it.
It's like, oh, you did it? And then I tell them yes, and I took my daughter. Now, I would have never done that if I didn't, you know, had fears, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
I do the same. Like, I'll be like, yeah, and then I took my mom. Like, you know, that's what we do in life. We protect our children and our moms, right? And so if I trusted the place to take my mom, and you trusted them to take your child, then you're going to be okay, right?
Right.
All right. So, and you do a really great job with our social media. By the way, we're all very thankful for you here.
I love all you. I love all the patients.
Yes, she does.
I do.
Truly love all the patients.
I do.
And truly advocates for them in ways behind the scenes that you guys would never even see or know.
There's some things that, I do that are behind the scenes.
She does really do a lot behind the scenes. So how do you manage the challenges of moderating all of that, right? I think you kind of already answered this, but how do you really manage that, moderating all of that, and especially dealing with like those negative posts or fears from patients? Like, I know you kind of already answered this, but like, you reach out to them.
Yeah, I just reach out to them directly, and like, I sent you a PM, and then, you know, next thing you know, I'm hello, and we're talking, or I call them. And you know, that it seems to work really well that, you know, somebody has reached out to them.
Yeah,
right.
It does. I know we kind of already talked about that, but it was one of my questions.
It does make them, you know, feel better, and that's I don't want anyone to have a bad experience. I want all good.
Sure. So, okay, how does your work as a patient advocate, the Facebook moderator, and podcast host influence the way you approach your own health in your everyday life and your own well-being post-surgery? So how does your job help you in your personal life and in your journey?
It helps keep me accountable.
I agree. It does me too.
It keeps me accountable. I mean, I don't ever want to go back to where I was. I don't want to have a second surgery. You know, it just it keeps me healthy and accountable.
Yeah. That's great.
To help all of you.
Yes. For sure. Because it's kind of like you have to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Like, how can you tell people all day long to do this, don't do that, and not be doing it?
And like I'll meal prep, and I'll post stuff on a recipe group, and, you know, I do different things.
I really wish I could get into meal prep, but I don't like leftovers.
I love it. I could eat the same thing 5 days a week if I meal prep. I could.
I just can't. I just can't. All right, so looking back on your experience, is there anything you wish you'd have known about surgery before your procedure? And then, like, how do you share those lessons with, like, our patients?
So I didn't even know about the Facebook group. Like, I didn't know that there was such a thing. I didn't join until like, I don't know, a year later. But I didn't know anything about hair loss. I didn't have any hair loss. Like 6 weeks after surgery, I was getting my hair colored and cut and highlighted and like all these chemicals, you know. I had no idea you could have hair loss. So, but I didn't have any. So, because, you know, I was really good about the vitamins and protein and fluids and biotin. So that's one thing that I wish I would have known about. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't have that. But, you know, I think a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
Slider foods, that was my biggest downfall.
That's the popcorn story.
That was my biggest downfall. I'm like, oh, but it has protein in it. I can eat a whole big bag. No, can't do that. I think, and also the exercise part, the being active, like that goes hand in hand with nutrition to get to where you want to be. Really does.
Yeah. And the lack of exercise was one of your hiccups. Well, in combination with the popcorn story.
Well, I waited a year to, you know, start exercising.
Yeah.
And it kind of, you know, was part of the slider food too.
Yeah. And then, but exercising is what kind of really changed your
did.
journey. It like spun it all around, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was life changing.
Yeah. And it's still such a big part of your journey now, and the maintenance part of it 8 years later.
And as being as old as I am, you know, never would have thought that I would be where I'm at.
Honestly, I would never think that she was as old as she is if I didn't actually know it was literally her.
She didn't see my license, no. Right.
So when it was time for your 60th birthday, and you were like still 58, I think, maybe. And your daughter's like, hey, capture all these pictures and send them to me and Mom for her 60th birthday party. And I'm like, her what? Yeah. Like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So I would never believe, I would swear you were like maybe late 40s. Just your activity and you're healthy.
Thank you.
You know? And modern. You're very modern. You're a very modern woman.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, so moving on, how do you stay motivated to continue supporting patients with such diversity, like diverse ways? Like you use Facebook, you use, you know, you're advocating for patients, podcasting. But what keeps you inspired to make a difference in people's journeys? What keeps you inspired?
This is such a life-changing surgery. I want everyone to be successful. That's what I want.
She really means that.
I do. I really mean that. I mean, you've gone to this place to have surgery, right? And you spent this money. You've flown there. You've done the diet. You know, you come home and you're on, you know, post-op. I want you to be successful. Like, the whole point of having surgery is, you know, to get healthy and lose weight and be the best version of yourself, right?
Yeah. Us being over here on the East Coast, like I always think of it as like it is like literally a long journey.
It is.
But I also metaphorically say you didn't go all this way or go all that way to go back.
Right.
But being from the East Coast, like you actually went all that way.
Like we have patients from New Zealand and Canada. Now they're coming like a lot of time.
Yeah, like they fly 20-something hours.
Yes,
We have patients with like 20-hour flights from New Zealand.
Yeah. But even if you live in LA and drive to the airport, you know, hey, I still want you to be successful because, you know.
You still went all that way.
Yeah, you went all that
metaphorically,
way. Metaphorically.
And you don't want to go back. So this is a funny thing because we see it a lot. We see a lot of people that are kind of on the fence, right? So what advice would you give that person who's on the fence about bariatric surgery? Like they're like, should I not, you know, especially when it comes to like their emotional or mental preparation, like what would you
I mean, everyone has a different reason. You know, some people, you know, have health issues. Some people need surgery and they've got to lose weight. I mean, there's so many different reasons to have surgery. And I think you have to outweigh the good and the bad, you know, like you want to prolong your life, you know. I really think do your research again. I highly suggest counseling. You know, even if you can't go in person, they have it on Zoom. A lot of employers offer that EAP, Employment Assistance Program, where you can get free counseling. My daughter did that. You know, just, you know, do your research, get as much support as you can, you know, become active.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good advice, good solid advice. I think I tell people all the time when I talk about you that, or when I'm talking about people who are on the fence, I use you a lot, and I tell them that you coupled counseling and like fitness training into your journey, and you reached that 100% of excess fat loss. Most people don't lose 100% of their excess fat. You know, it's been 7 years for me. I've had 2 surgeries. Not from lack of trying, just our bodies are all different. Like I can't say I didn't put in as much work as you, or that you put in more work. You can't say that. Like you can't compare.
We're all different.
Yeah, you can't compare your petals to the flower next to you because you're not the same flower.
Right.
And so, but most people don't lose 100% of their excess fat, and you did. And so I tell people that you attribute that to, or you do all those extra things. Like you added the counseling, you added the exercise, and you stay faithful to the nutritional part, you know. So let me ask you this question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What would you say is your favorite thing about this journey in the past 8 years? What is your favorite thing about your journey?
My favorite thing is helping others to get healthy. That's really my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew? Like, did you see yourself sitting here having this conversation?
Never.
On this camera for all these people to see 8 years ago?
Nope, never.
No.
Nope. This journey has taken me down a path that I never would have dreamed.
Yeah, and talking to people day in and day out about their journey.
Yeah, their journey. Starting their journey, in the middle of their journey, maintaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, maintaining is a whole new ball game.
Yeah, there's a whole group for that.
Yeah, we have another group for that too.
You should be like 2 years and beyond. You're kind of in that maintenance phase.
Mm-hmm.
Really, people start getting it. You should start easing into maintenance around 18 months, I would think.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a lifetime.
All right. Well, we have kind of dove into Serita's journey. Is there anything else you want to add about your journey at all?
Do this for yourself. Don't do it for other people. And make sure you have people around you who support your journey.
Yeah, that's important.
It's important because there's people out there who will sabotage you or try to. It happened to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't let that get in the way. This is your health, your future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true. And if you don't have people like in person to be your support, we have a whole Facebook group. You can find your surgery siblings. I still talk to people I had surgery with 7 years ago.
Me too.
And also 3 years ago. A lot of my 3-year-ago surgery buddies are looking at cosmetics now. So, you know, I'm sending them over to MCC.
Yeah, that's right.
Or I'm going to throw her out there. Just reach out to Serita because
reach out to her.
She cares and she'll help you through it and support you.
Yeah.
And hold you accountable when she hears crunch crunch on the phone.
I will. Yes, I will.
All right, guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. You can find her on Facebook, reach out. Aside from that, I've enjoyed talking to you about your journey and what you do with us here at MVC. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yay. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Have any questions or want to share your bariatric weight loss journey, you can call or text us at 480-999-4826 or send an email to podcast@mexicobariatriccenter.com. You can also follow Mexico Bariatric Center on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Keep in mind, these are the opinions of the host. The views represented do not reflect or define the values of Mexico Bariatric Center. This podcast is sponsored by Emerge Bariatrics and Mexico Bariatric Center. Please visit MexicoBariatricCenter.com for more information.